when we're communicating and when we want to see if we can bring value to the people that we're working with. It's not about selling. It's not about speaking. It's about actually asking the right questions and listening and see if we can bring value. If we can bring value, we never sell anything. We don't need to sell because we bring value. People want what we have.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the show. My name is Tiffany Alexander, and you are with us on Unveiling Journeys. I am so excited today because through the power of networking, I've met some of the most incredible people, and they get to be on my show because I want you to know them. I want you to hear their story, where they got to where they are. And what ends up happening is I ask everybody that I try to meet, hey, who do you know that I need to know? And I've got some people that I think you should know. And just so happens I was in a high-level mastermind where Joel was a guest, and I said, I love your energy. I need to know you more. Can we have a meeting together? That's it. From there, we're on a texting basis, like, oh my gosh, I have somebody you need to know. How can you help them? Today, we get to hear his story and we get to unveil his journey as to where he went to get to where he's at now. He has so many different cool things he gets to talk about, and that we get to decide what we're going to unpack. So number one, thank you so much, Joel, for being here with me. Thank you for coming to be on my show. Everybody, welcome Joel, and tell us a little bit about who you are and what you're doing right now.
Hey, Tiffany, it's so great to be here. It's been a privilege to get to know you and sharing time with you. You write text messages, Zoom meetings. And since we met, every time I hear somebody say, you need to talk to Tiffany, you need to talk to Tiffany. So yes, absolutely. It has been been joyful so far, and I'm certain it will continue being like that. So I'm very happy to be here. Fix my hair especially today for your show to make sure I look good for the meeting. Yeah, let's start. Well, let's start from the beginning, I guess.
No, let's start with who you are now. Like, tell me, what are all the hats that you wear right now? Which there's so many. So which ones do you want to? Number one, you're an author.
Yeah. So this is my passion, my calling. This is not a business venture. I've been blessed to write the book, The Eggshell Effect, and my journey from fear. This is a story about my life. I'm sure we'll talk about it a little bit more later in the show. I'm an author and a speaker, energy awareness, a supporter, a coach, however you want to call it, helping people to understand why they do what they do energetically. Like, we think everything is common sense and everything have to come to our brain, but it's very, very little. If everything was common sense, we will be living in a much better world. The reason that we are the way that we are, it's all energy, and it's all usually stuff that happened to us in a very, very early age that really impact the rest of our lives. This is what the book is about, and this is what the work that they do around the book with that.
Yeah. On top of being an author, you are also an entrepreneur where you help business owners find some incredible resources that you tend to be able to find for them. Tell me a tiny bit about that.
Sure, absolutely. So I've been an entrepreneur all my life. And I never had one business, I never had one. I always find it as boring. I would build a business and let it run. Some businesses I did very well. Some businesses I lost a lot of money. Some businesses I did okay. And once I build up the business, I let it run, basically put it into motion and run. And then I will get bored, and then I will start something else, and I will start something else. So really, nothing really changed from that point of view. Today, in Power Impact Solutions, this is my company. We're doing a lot of things. So we are involved in the real estate world. This is what my big background is in creating financing and in helping real estate deals to come together. We have multiple options to do that. And for me, coming from the real estate world, I used to flip homes for a living. I probably flipped over 300 properties in my career. So when I work with people, they show me a deal. Within 2 minutes, I can say, hey, this is the deal. This is what we need to adjust. This is what we need to work on to make sure that the deal makes sense. So this is one area that I'm involved in. I'm also involved in charities, helping charities to raise money with our $0 donation program. And what's unique about our program is that nobody had to write a check for the charity to raise money. So it's much easier to ask for $0 than to ask for $100. everybody have $0. Not everybody have $100 that they're willing to support. So it's a great program. I also work with businesses, help them to save money on taxes and insurance. And this is really great because it's coming in, helping the businesses. Usually, actually, it's never cost them anything to do that. But my biggest passion and what I'm doing in the for-profit businesses that I have and what they do is actually in the healthcare industry. I represent a company that called Impact Solutions, and we help individuals, families, businesses to save 30 to 50% on the healthcare cost. But more value than just saving the money is give people the power again. I mean, the healthcare industry, we don't need to talk about it too much. We know it's a very sick industry. It's really designed for one thing and one thing only, is to make money for the companies. Our organization is really designed to help to support our members, to support our customers, to save money, and also have the freedom to choose any doctor that they want to go to in the country. And think about that for a second. Most people are healthy or fairly healthy. Most people in the United States, less than 84% are actually don't even reach their deductible on a yearly basis. So most people are fairly healthy, but God forbid something happen to you or to a loved one. And it's a serious thing. And it's a question of life and death. And it's something that loved ones that we have, we want to make sure they're getting the best service and the best doctors that they can. With traditional insurance, the insurance company will tell their customer which doctors they can go and see.
Yeah.
Now, could be that the best doctor for that situation is across the country or is in the same city in a different network. And if this is a question of life and death, if the family are in the position to refinance the house, to sell the house, to go into their pocket and pay for the right doctor to take care of them, they will do that because what is money if we don't have the loved ones around us?
Right.
With our program, we will never put our customers in this position. They can choose any doctor that they want to go to all over the country.
I love
Now,
that.
again, if it's something little, a little boo-boo, it doesn't matter. Anybody can take care of it. But if it's something serious, this can be a life and death situation. So saving money and have the freedom to choose any doctor that they want to go to, this is the best for all worlds.
I love so many of the things that you're doing. One thing that I found is that whenever I met you, there were so many layers of the things that it is that you're doing. And I said, man, how do you know what to say? And he said, basically, I just ask people about themselves and then I'm quiet. And then I could figure out how it is that I could help them solve their problems, which I love so much because you're really considering, I have so many things that I could help you with, but what's the one that's going to make the most impact, that's going to help you, or what it is that you need next, even if it's down to like, I know a guy, right? Kind of a thing. Let's do this. Let's start from the very beginning. Where are you from and how did all this get started?
But Tiffany, I will start in a second from the beginning. I just want to respond to what you say. And I know that entrepreneurs would listen and salespeople will listen. When we're communicating and when we want to see if we can bring value to the people that we're working with, it's not about selling. It's not about speaking. It's about actually asking the right questions and listening and see if we can bring value. If we can bring value, we never sell anything. We don't need to sell because we bring value. People want what we have. And if there is no value to exchange, this is when people talk a lot and fast. This is when I'm running away. I say, I don't want to do business with people like that because they're usually hiding something.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. It's like the internal feeling you have to listen to. Some people forget that you got to listen to that.
Great. So let's go to the beginning.
Tell me, where are you from?
I was born a long time ago. I was actually born in Argentina. And when I was 3 years old, my family moved to Israel. So this is where I grew up. So I consider myself Israeli and stay in Israel until my early 20s. So I did all my schooling, my high school. I did the service, the IDF in Israel. After that, I went to Europe, actually. I don't think that you even know any of this stuff, Tiffany.
No, I love unveiling it. Like, tell me your journey. I want to hear more. I haven't even heard this. We get to all hear it at once.
Yeah. I went to Europe and I used to train horses for a living. So what I did in Israel, I was growing up in a kibbutz. So anybody that know about Israel and know what kibbutz, this is a community living, a lot of farms and a lot of activity like that. So in the kibbutz, I was working in the dairy farm and I was working with horses as a hobby, as a passion. And this is really where I fell in love with the horses and really find a purpose for myself. And this is really was my life passion. And once I finished the service in the IDF, I went to Europe. I was in Europe for a few years and training horses, and it was the best ever. I mean, I was living in the Netherlands, and it was great people, great horses, great. It was great. It was really really great.
When you were
And
there, what part of it was like, oh man, did you want to do something different, or did something you bumped into that led you to where your next journey started?
so I worked really hard. I mean, it was working from 5 o'clock in the morning until 12 o'clock at night every day. And I did get paid for that. It was the first time in my life that I got paid at all for any work that I did. And I got paid for working with horses. So I would do it for free if they would ask me.
Yeah.
They gave me housing, they gave me food, they gave me everything, and they gave me money. But then I realized that, horseback riding, it's a sport for rich people. And I realized that I will be very limited to how far I can go and continue the way that I went. And I know that it's very limited and I got burned out. I mean, if there's any looking back at that time that I turned a hobby into a profession
Mm,
and once I reached my limit, I lost the hobby and I lost the passion for that. But I still love horses. I mean, you can still put me next to a horse and I will feel like
yeah.
15 years old again. Yeah, but this is where the
I could see you getting burnt out without many hours. What did you decide to do next?
so I had some money and I just traveled the world and I traveled the world. I traveled Europe. I traveled South America. Uh, I was young. I didn't think about anything. Well, okay, I just let me travel. So it was really great. It was great experience. Eventually, I end up back in Argentina. This is where I was born. And then my mom called me and say, "Hey, your cousin in New York getting married in a month from now or 2 months from now. And do you want to come to the wedding?" I said, "I have no place to go, so I don't care. Let's go to New York. Make no difference." And so I flew to New York and I got there a little bit before my mom got there, maybe a month before. For those of you that been in New York, you have every culture, every country, everywhere. So like I within minutes felt like I'm back at home in Israel, find my Israeli connections, find a job. So by the time that my mom actually made it to New York and we went to the wedding, and after the wedding, it's okay, are you ready to come home? And I said, I think I will stay here for a little longer. And this little longer turned into 30 some years later. I'm still in the United States, but it's really, I came here for my cousin wedding and I stayed here for a little longer.
Oh my gosh, that's such a fun story. What was the first job that you had when you stayed?
So I actually I work for a carpet cleaning company
Yeah.
and it was a commission based and I had no English and I used to work hard. So there was no problem for me to work hard. So I was able to make money because I was hard worker, but I was not a good salesman. I could not even communicate. And so it took me, it taught me a lot, taught me the language, taught me communicating with people. And again, because up until this point, I really did not, I dealt with animals and animals, I mean, they fun to deal with. People, it's a different story. So this job really set me up into the rest of my life, actually.
I love that. What were some of the learning pieces that you decided to take away or you could take away from that helped you further on?
I heard that in-home sales, 1 year of in-home sales equal to 5 years of college.
Really?
Then, because when you go into somebody's house, you enter to their safe place, and you
Mhm.
literally have for me at least, it's literally having 15 to 30 seconds to know where to take the conversation and to know how to basically to create the value and to create the service. There is no second chance. It's quickly, and it's had to be done very, very quickly, and going to the right place and picking up pictures, like immediately going into the house and study everything. Like, hey, is this person is a single guy, is a single woman? They have kids? Do they have animals? Because then you need to become their friends very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
If you're walking into a house and you see that they have a picture of a dog, like, what are you talking about dogs? You see pictures of kids. You're talking about kids. You see, like, it's literally it's have to happen so quickly to be able to build the trust and to be able to provide the sales and provide the service in a very quickly way. So I think staying on my feet, thinking on my feet. If I think that looking around, staying on my feet all the time.
Yeah, being the ultimate conversationalist with people, establishing trust. And I love that you said it, 1 year of in-home sales, like with being in somebody's home, is equivalent to what you said, 4 years or 5 years of 5 years of college. Because if my look back of the college that I learned was like, oh, let's relearn English and Spanish and 101 this and math, right? I'm not really using any of that at this point, but the 1 year that you had immersed into that, so much more about understanding people and how you could help people out. I think that would get everybody so much further to even understand the human psyche and mindset and all that, which keeps leading you into the next and the next thing. Where did you go from there? Like, how long were you at that company?
So I was there for a while, and then the guy that I work with bankrupt, and then I find myself moving from New York to Pittsburgh. And this guy is still is one of my best friends since for over 30 years. We're still talking often. He's very successful in his own right, and moved to Pittsburgh and open a carpet cleaning business here in Pittsburgh. Ran it for a while, expand the business to some other. And again, at that point, it was my business completely. So I expanded to other services, to some other in-home services and businesses that we had. I opened my flooring business. I opened my air duct business. So it just kept growing and growing because the concept was the same concept. If you know how to make the phone ring, if you know how to get orders, at the time it was phone rings. Today it was all setting up appointments online, but making the phone ring and knowing how to work with people to teach them the same skills that I learned. This is how I expand my business. For many, eventually sold all these 3 businesses. I broke them pieces. So basically there were 3 different businesses. I sold them individually and went into real estate. And this was a completely different ball game.
Why real estate?
So let me tell, this is a good story. So when I got involved in the flooring business, in my mind was, once we selling flooring service to a family, like, they will not come back. Like, why would they come back? They will not need to buy a new carpet or new wood floor every year. Like, it's once in a lifetime. And I was surprised of how many return customers we had. And then it's really start making sense. So we can do, if you have 4,000 square feet house, or they 5,000 square feet house, or even if they have a smaller house, they don't do all the house in one shot. So they kept coming back. But then we had this guy that kept coming buying carpet from us every week.
Every week?
Every week.
You're like, what? Why are you using carpet every week? What are you doing with this carpet?
This is
and
exactly
it's never
what
the
they
same
asked
address,
him.
right?
This is exactly what they ask him. And he say, hey, Joel, I buy real estate and all these carpets going to my rental properties. So interesting. And I appreciate residual income from day one. Like, I learned about residual income in my beginning of my businesses. I was always, and one of the reasons that I was able to sell my businesses is because I create a loyalty club to all the customers. So they would, I remember, we'll get back to it in a second, but let's go back to the guy that bought carpet every week, and we became friends. And I say, so what do you do? Show me, do you mind to show me? I say, sure, come tonight. I will show you one of the houses that I work in. and knowing to ask the right questions. And I asked the questions, and he shared the information and shared the information. And after that, I look at I say, you're not smarter than me. You maybe have a little bit more money, but you're definitely not better looking than me. I can do what you do. I mean, there's no reason for me not to. Like, if I can sell you carpet, I can sell myself carpet. And this is really where I start studying the real estate world, and I start flipping houses. So the reason that we are actually, because I did have partners with the in-home services. The reason that I say, hey, I want out, because I start buying real estate with one of my partners that we just start buying real estate as our business was growing. And I remember this was before the collapse of the mortgage industry. I know that there's some young people here that have no clue what I'm talking about, but this was before the collapse of the mortgage industry, and we start buying properties. It was fairly easy to buy there. For anybody, like, if you breathe and if you know how to spell your name, you have chances to get a mortgage. So we were able to get money to buy real estate, and we were able to flip it. And we did 2 deals on the same street. We did so well. And we actually, in these 2 deals, we made just as much money that we made working all year long in one of our services. And we say, we're doing something wrong here. Like we work, it's much easier to work in the real estate. It's much more fun and much more lucrative. So this is really what gave us the push to sell the businesses and really to go deeper into the real estate world.
Man, that's incredible to have that like awakening moment of, wait a minute, I'm like almost exchanging my quantity of time for this business where you can have a service versus having all that at once. I love that real estate is able to provide that for so many people, and you got to crack into that. Luckily, where did it take you from there? Just how many flips into it where you're like, all right, I need to go bigger, or I need to do more, or like what happened?
So in the beginning, it was fun.
Yeah.
Okay. And the reason I say in the beginning it was fun, because we really kept it small. And so it was fairly stress-free. In the in-home services, it was stress 26 hours a day. It was stressful all the time. I had my peak of my time, probably had 50 employees, office staff. I would spend thousands of dollars every week just in the gas station to keep all the trucks running. And it was a huge headache, and making sure that a million things have to happen for me to make a little bit of money.
Yeah.
So when I went to the real estate, we did few flips, and it was good. It's just, hey, we have the house, we flip it, it's great. We don't have a house, it does not cost us money. Besides our life expense, it doesn't really cost us money. But then the mortgage industry collapsed, and then the opportunities were there left and right. And then we really start buying a lot of properties, and eventually it became a job, and it just became just as stressful, with 100 times more liability.
Yeah.
That came with that. And eventually I got out of this business as well for that reason. It just became an unpleasant job. And if I own my own business, and if I don't enjoy what I'm doing, there is no point for me to do that.
Yeah. But how did you pay yourself after you left the real estate investing space?
It was a struggle. It was a struggle, but it was. At that point, I finished working on my book. And, if you talk about the book a little bit, and for anybody that listens, so as I say, I grew up in a farm. I grew up on horses, and I grew up milking cows. I never had any desire to become a businessman. It was never my dream to become a businessman. It was never my dream to live in the US. It was never my dream to live in Pittsburgh. I did not even know Pittsburgh exists. Forget about dreaming about it.
Yeah, right.
Who's coming to Pittsburgh? And what's the? I love Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh is a great city. Great people. There are people that coming to Pittsburgh, but usually they're coming to the university. Like when people say, "Hey, you came here to the university," I say, "No, I hate school. I hate school for 12 years. I didn't think about going to a college." There is some people really want to build businesses. Some people, this is really money-driven people. I am not one of those. Even that I share with you about all the businesses and everything that they have done. The only reason that I start building businesses is, and this is, I talk about it in my book. So I have dyslexia. So reading and writing, it's the last thing that I want to do.
No wonder why you're not big into school. That must have made it really tough.
It was miserable.
You have to like be entirely different human being to attack the world a different manner than everyone else just gets to read normally.
Yeah. And it was long time ago. So today, somebody, if they have any kind of learning disability, they can find it quicker. They can help them quicker. I mean, for me, it was not until 8th grade that I was diagnosed with dyslexia. But at that point, I was so far behind that it was really unpleasant experience. Now, luckily for me, where I grew up in Israel, that the kibbutz that I grew up, it's they will not really, okay, don't worry. If you don't want to go to school, don't go to school. As long as you're not lazy, as long as you work, it's okay. Because I grew up in a farm environment, so it's okay. However, once I start need to earn money and need to make money, I knew I cannot have a job. And the only reason that I know in the back of my mind of why I'm going to own my own business is because my fear that if I work for somebody, they will give me a report, they will give me something to write, they will give me, and at the time it was a secret. I did not tell anybody that I can't read and write. So I was living in this secret, in lie, in fear, in like it's all the time there.
Yeah.
And I say that the only way for me to make sure nobody tell me what to do is if I own my own business.
Yeah.
This is the only reason why I start my businesses.
That's incredible.
So some people have different whys of why they do what they do. And it's not that I was thinking about it differently and I was saying, hey, this is what, no, it was all subconscious.
Yeah.
It was like, it's an instinct. It was an instinct. It was a survival mechanism. And this secret and living in the secret and living in a lie impacted my life tremendously. Eventually, I was diagnosed with an autoimmune disease. And it's again, because this energy like stay in my body and had to come out from somewhere. And so this is definitely, it's all connected. Everything is connected. And there is connection to what our conscious and our subconscious mind think and do to impact our action.
Yeah.
So, and it's all connected. So this is really why I start building the businesses. And so I took a time off, and I had a little bit of money from the real estate. So it wasn't that, but it was, my money have a funny way to work. If you don't put more money in the bank account, eventually the money will disappear.
Right.
And then I finished up working on my book. I finished the book and I had.
Remind me the title of your book again so we can tell everybody.
The Eggshell Effect. My journey from fear.
I love that.
Okay. And so I finished working on my book and I had some expectations that they did not meet. So I thought, hey, the book will come and it will be a bestseller and it will open up all these doors. And it sold. It was an amazing sales and it's opened up some doors, but not exactly the doors that I thought that they will. And then this is really where I got involved. So, okay, I have to go back to work. And I got involved with different services. This is when I designed Empower Impact Solutions, basically to start working. But what I did know is what I did love and missed from the real estate world is the value of residual income. And I know that whatever I'm going to do, residual income had to be a big part of what I'm doing.
Absolutely.
So this is what I'm going to continue doing, and this is how I will continue building my businesses. And who knows what the future look like, but this is definitely, I don't start from zero every day. Like I'm getting paid today for work that I've done 6 years ago.
Yeah, exactly. And then as far as what you're doing right now, some people are thinking to themselves, listening to this, oh my gosh, I relate. I get it. I also want the same. What is your favorite way to have people reach out to you? Because just a short conversation leading into another one and a longer conversation, there's so many different avenues that you could encourage, inspire, direct people in their journey currently to be closer to getting them to where they maybe need to be, whether it be creating residual income, overcoming their fears, working out of their mindsets. Like, where do you want people to find you to reach out to you so they can connect?
So I know I'm crazy, but I can give my telephone number and they can
Yeah,
call.
absolutely. I love it.
Yeah, and they can call and I'm here to, it's not every conversation that I have is a business conversation.
Mm-hmm.
It's a conversation to make a difference in people's life. Today, this is my commitment uh,
Yeah, absolutely.
is to help. Is to help. And if there is a way for us to make money together, if there's a way for me to help them to make money, if it's great. And if it's just they need my help with overcoming fears, but it's not even overcoming fears because we all have fears.
Mm-hmm.
It's building relationship with fears.
Yeah.
It's building relationship with fear. So if somebody needs help with that area, obviously this is my passion. This is why I was born in this lifetime for this purpose, is to work around the work that I'm doing in my book and in the energy awareness. And this is really where what's fulfilling me to do that.
Yeah,
It's
absolutely. All right. We want to know, what's your phone number?
412-417-1610.
And I'll make sure we put that in all the show notes and all of our shorts. So that way we can have everybody call you. Now, if you're like, oh, I'm driving, I can't write that down. All right. It's in the show notes. You guys hopefully already friended me on LinkedIn. So that way you can favorite, go through all my contacts because you're going to find Joel. And then I'll get you his phone number, right? We're a text, a phone call away to be able to share anything that he feels on his heart that he could share with you with a phone call. Tell me before we go, what are, or maybe one or two of like your favorite one-liners or nuggets that you just really want to leave with people? There's probably so many that you're like,
Exactly.
all right.
I did not expect this question. Can I use one of them from my book?
Absolutely. You invented it. It's your book.
So the willingness to be vulnerable is the access to freedom.
Yeah.
And this changed my life because we all living in a world that we pretend to be something that we are not. And when we're doing business, we want to make sure that we all got our act together. No, we don't. And don't pretend that you're not. And I would prefer to do business with people that telling me the truth than pretending to be something that they're not. Because if we are ending up doing business, eventually I will find out that the truth. If you tell me, hey, look, this is what I'm great at. This is what I'm good at. This is what I'm not good at. Mm-hmm. This is where I need your help. I will be happier to work with people like that than people that say, hey, I can do it all.
Yeah.
So that we need to be vulnerable. So people willing to be vulnerable. Now, this is in business, but this is also in relationship. Mm-hmm. How many times we pretend to be somebody that we're not just to make it look good?
Yeah.
So the willingness to be vulnerable is the access to freedom. And I know I should not tap myself on my own shoulder, but I think that when you ask me about growth, this is probably the first thing that came to mind.
That's great. That's an amazing piece of advice you've left with people. And the next thing they should consider to write down and sort of live by, and then to call you to say, hey, let's be friends and figure out how we could level each other up, because you're doing so many good things for so many people. Because the businesses that you run right now, even me, we're like, how can we make each other better, right? So thank you so much. This has been fun to be able to hear more of your story, because I know I've heard bits and pieces, but I love hearing so many more pieces of it. Your time is so valuable to me. I'm so happy that I could share your story with so many people. Thank you for being on, and I look forward to seeing everybody else that's watching on the next episode. Make sure to subscribe on YouTube, and I will see you guys all later. Thank you again, Joel.
Thank you, Tiffany.